Imagine this, right? Every morning, like clockwork, I'm there planting a kiss on my husband's cheek. Our life? Picture perfect suburbia. The kind of place where you swear you could hear a sitcom laugh track in the background. It's all roses and sunshine, or so I thought. Now, let's fast forward to me volunteering at this charity event. I'm all smiles, laughter booming louder than the band playing. It's one of those moments, you know, where you feel like you're exactly where you're supposed to be. But then, this guy, Mr. Charming Stranger, waltzes up to me with a drink. Thought you could use this, he says, smile all dazzling. And bam, just like that, there's this spark. Haven't felt that in, God, years? Next thing I know, I'm sneaking texts with him. Every ding from my phone sends this thrill up my spine, mixed with a dollop of guilt. I'm doing mental gymnastics to keep my phone screen from my husband. It's like I'm back in high school, hiding my report card. Then, Mr. Charming ups the ante. Escape with me, he says. A secluded beach, this weekend. Just us. My heart's racing, thoughts swirling. It's reckless, insane even. But it's like there's this magnetic pull, and saying no isn't in the cards. So, I spin this tale about a girl's weekend to my husband. His trusting eyes don't catch the lie, and it weighs on me like a ton of bricks. But the adventure, the secrecy of it all with the stranger, it's intoxicating. The beach weekend? Straight out of a romance novel. The kind you devour in one sitting. He's all stories and soft touches under the moonlight, swearing it's fate. And I'm there, lapping it up, drowning in this connection that feels too intense, too right to question. I'm telling you, it was a whirlwind. From believing in the perfect life to questioning what perfect even means. Each step, each action, felt like it was leading to something monumental. And boy, was it ever. So, picture this. I'm back home from that whirlwind beach escapade, right? But it's like I never really came back. My mind's still on that sandy shore, tangled up in whispers and waves. My husband's talking, doing that thing where he's trying to catch my eye, but I'm miles away. His words? Just background noise. And then there's my phone, buzzing with texts from him, Mr. Unbelievable. Every beep, every buzz, it's like a shot of adrenaline. Sneaking glances, hiding smiles, I'm in this bubble where it's just him and me. It's exhilarating, but, let me tell you, it's exhausting too. Before I know it, I'm slipping. Missing meetings, bailing on friends, all because I'm too caught up in this, whatever it is. It's like I'm on this high, and everything else just doesn't measure up. My world's shrinking, and it's all because I can't resist that next message, that next secret rendezvous. Then, my husband, bless him, starts putting two and two together. He's no fool. Notices my long absences, the perpetual glow on my face that sure as heck isn't from the skincare routine he knows I don't have. He's looking at me, really looking, and I can see the wheels turning. One day, he finds it. A receipt from the beach resort, just casually hanging out in my purse. The look on his face? It's like I punched him in the gut. What's this? He asks, voice all shaky. And there I am, cornered, coming up with the most cliché line in the book. I needed some space, some time to think. The hurt in his eyes, it's like I'm watching his heart crack right there and then. But do I stop? No, sir. The affair? It's like a runaway train now. We're sneaking off whenever we can, making promises under a blanket of stars, promises that feel too big, too heavy to carry in the light of day. It's reckless, heady, and completely, utterly unsustainable. And there I am, caught in the middle of this mess, spinning lie after lie, watching the world I built with my husband crumble around me. It's a house of cards, and I just pulled the bottom one out. Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you do, please take a moment to hit that like button. It really helps me out and lets me know you appreciate the content. Also, if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. Subscribing is a great way to stay updated with all the latest videos and to be part of our growing community. It's quick, it's free, and it ensures you won't miss out on any upcoming content. So go ahead, smash that like button and hit subscribe. Your support means a lot and keeps this channel going. Thanks for watching. Alright, so here's where things get really twisted. I'm deep in this fantasy, convinced I've hit the jackpot with Mr. Charming. My head swirling with this idea that he's the one, my soulmate, even though this little voice in the back of my head keeps whispering, are you sure? Then, out of nowhere, my husband, the man I promised to love and cherish, comes to me with this idea of couples therapy. Can you believe it? He's willing to work through this, through my mess. But me? I'm too far gone, too blinded by this intoxicating affair. We're beyond help, I tell him, and the look of desperation in his eyes? It haunts me. One night, I'm out, and I overhear Mr. Charming at the bar. He's boasting, can you believe? Bragging about his latest conquest, me. My heart doesn't just skip a beat, it feels like it stops. But when I confront him, he's all smiles and excuses, saying I got it all wrong. And me, like the fool I am, I choose to believe him. I want to believe him so badly that I start cutting ties left and right, diving headfirst into this lie I've convinced myself is love. But then, the final blow. My husband, the one person who's been my rock through everything, packs his bags and leaves. He leaves behind this note, all heartbreak and hope, saying he'll always love me and that he's waiting for me to come back. It's like a punch to the gut, a wake-up call I'm not ready for. Just when I think it can't get any worse, it does. I find out Mr. Charming isn't just my Mr. Charming. He's been playing the field, juggling women like it's his job. And when I confront him, expecting another excuse I can cling to, he drops the act. Cold and cruel, he tells me I was nothing but a distraction, a way to pass the time. It's like the floor's been ripped out from under me. Every lie, every whispered promise, it all crumbles away, leaving me with nothing but the harsh truth. I was played, and the cost? It's more than I can bear. Alright, let's dive into where it all starts to unravel, big time. After the whole disaster with Mr. Charming, I'm at rock bottom, right? So, I do the only thing that makes sense to me. I try to go back to my husband, thinking maybe, just maybe, we can patch things up. But guess what? He's moved on. Yeah. There's someone else making him smile now, someone not me. It's like a slap in the face, waking me up to what I've lost. I'm sitting there, trying to process it all, and it hits me hard. The life I took for granted, the man I thought would always be there waiting for me, it's all gone. And for what? A fling that left me emptier than ever. I'm craving the mundane moments I once rolled my eyes at, longing for a normalcy I thought was suffocating me before. As if the universe hasn't kicked me enough, I see him, Mr. Charming, parading around with his new flavor of the month. They're in our spots, the ones we laughed in, kissed in, made a million memories in. It's like he's intentionally twisting the knife, showing off his shiny new toy where he knows I'll see them. Feeling like a total pariah, I reach out to my old friends, hoping for some shred of the life I left behind. But the cold, hard truth? I've burned those bridges too. The calls go unanswered, the messages unreturned. It's a lonely realization, knowing you're reaping the whirlwind of your own choices. So, what's a girl to do? I pull myself up by the bootstraps, or at least I try to. Job hunting, therapy sessions, you name it. I'm doing it all, trying to glue back together the pieces of the life I shattered. It's tough, humbling, and sometimes, it feels downright hopeless. But what choice do I have? Every attempt to reach out to my husband is met with a polite, no, thank you. It's clear, his heart, once mine to call home, is barricaded against me. The pain of rejection, of knowing I've caused irreparable damage, it's a constant ache, a reminder of the cost of my choices. And then, as if I needed another punch to the gut, I see them again, Mr. Charming and his latest conquest, laughing carelessly in a cafe we once loved. It's a cruel echo of a past that feels both like yesterday and a lifetime ago. The happiness I once knew now feels like a foreign concept, something I can only observe from the outside looking in. So, here I am, trying to piece together a life from the ruins of my decisions, learning the hard way that some mistakes, once made, carve out a void that no amount of regret can fill. It's a tough pill to swallow, realizing that the search for a fleeting thrill has cost me everything that once made my life whole. So, there I was, a complete mess but fired up with a kind of angry energy I didn't know I had in me. I'm thinking, if I can't fix my own disaster, maybe I can stop someone else from stepping into this nightmare. It's like, if I could save this new girl from Mr. Heartbreaker, maybe, just maybe, I could salvage a piece of my dignity. I start digging through every message, every photo, all the evidence of his two-timing ways. It's painful, you know? Reliving those moments, but with eyes wide open this time. I compile it all, this damning dossier on the man I once thought was my forever. Then, in the dead of night, fueled by a mix of wine and wild resolve, I send it all off to her, the new girl. Anonymously, of course. There's this part of me that's hoping she'll see the light, ditch the guy, and save herself a world of hurt. But then, the backlash. He finds out. Shows up at my door, all fury and accusation. Jealous? Petty? Me? I want to laugh in his face, but his words, they slice through me. Because, deep down, part of me wonders if he's right. Word gets out, because of course it does. Small town, smaller circles. Suddenly, I'm not just the woman who wrecked her own marriage. I'm the vindictive ex-lover, the crazy lady spreading lies. Friends, or those I thought were friends, they start keeping their distance. It's like I've got this scarlet letter branded on me. And then, the kicker. She stays with him. Despite everything, she chooses to believe his lies over the cold, hard proof. It's a gut punch, realizing my grand gesture of warning was for nothing. The world I knew, the people I cared about, it all seems to slip further and further away. I hit rock bottom, feeling more isolated than ever. But then, something shifts. Maybe it's desperation. Maybe it's a search for meaning in this mess, but I turn to volunteer work. I pour myself into it, helping those who have nothing to do with my past, my mistakes. It's not redemption, not really, but it's a start. A way to fill the days, to try to make sense of the chaos I've caused. Slowly, I start to find a bit of peace, not in the forgiveness of others, but in the act of giving. It's no fairy tale ending, no sudden epiphany where everything makes sense. But it's something. A glimmer of hope in a story that's had too little of it. Here's the thing. Life's got this funny way of kicking you when you're down. Just when I thought I'd hit rock bottom, I see it. My husband's wedding pictures plastered all over social media. There he is, all smiles, looking at his new bride the way he used to look at me. It's like a punch to the gut, a stark reminder of the life I threw away for a fleeting fantasy. Fast forward a bit, and I'm at this local event, trying to blend into the background. But then, across the crowd, I spot him, Mr. Charming, the cause of all my woes. Just seeing him there, it sends this sharp pang of regret through me. What was I thinking? As I'm leaving, trying to keep my head down, I overhear the whispers. That's her, the woman who chose a stranger over her husband. It's like I'm wearing a scarlet letter, a label I can't shake off. It stings, knowing that's how I'm defined now, by my worst mistake. So, I do what any sensible person in my shoes would do. I find a new place to call home. A small apartment, nothing like the warm, inviting home I once shared with my husband. It's cold, impersonal, a constant reminder of how much I've lost. But then, something unexpected happens. I adopt a dog, a scruffy little thing with more love to give than I ever imagined possible. This dog, he doesn't care about my past, my mistakes. His affection is unconditional. A stark contrast to the complicated mess of human relationships I've tangled myself in. Inspired by this newfound perspective, I start writing a blog. It's nothing fancy, just me pouring my heart out, sharing my story in the hopes of warning others about the dangers of infidelity. It's raw, it's real, and somehow, it starts to resonate. People begin to follow my journey, sharing their own stories of betrayal and heartbreak. It's a small community, but it's something. A connection to others who understand the pain of making unforgivable mistakes. This blog, it becomes my therapy, my way of making amends, even if only to myself. It's not redemption, not by a long shot, but it's a start. A step towards forgiving myself, towards rebuilding from the rubble of my choices. And in the midst of it all, I find a sliver of hope, a reminder that even in our darkest moments, there's a chance for a new beginning. Just when I thought I was invisible, lost in the sea of my own mess, something incredible happens. I get this message, right? It's from a woman who's been following my blog. She tells me, your story stopped me in my tracks, made me see the edge I was walking towards. Thank you for saving me from making the same mistake. Can you believe it? My mess, my disaster, helped someone. It's this unexpected beacon of light in the darkness I've been wading through. Buoyed by this, I start putting myself out there more. I'm talking at local events, sharing the raw, unfiltered truth of my journey. It's scary, laying it all bare, but it feels like I'm finally turning my shipwreck of a story into a lighthouse for others. Finding purpose in the pain, you know? But let's be real, the nights are still tough. I'm lying there, staring at the ceiling, and the ache for my husband's forgiveness is this constant companion. It's like no matter how many people I reach, how many might benefit from my cautionary tale, that one person's forgiveness, the one that matters most, feels like a universe away. Then, one day, I catch wind of Mr. Charming's latest romantic casualty. Part of me, that petty, hurt part, feels this flicker of vindication. But it's fleeting, gone as quick as it came because, at the end of the day, it changes nothing of my own situation. I'm out walking the dog, right? This little ball of fur that's become my shadow. We're passing through the park, and it's like I've stumbled into couple central. Everywhere, people holding hands, wrapped up in their own little worlds. And there's me, feeling every inch the outsider. This is where it hits me, the full weight of what I've lost. I find this bench, a little island in the midst of all this love and life going on around me. I'm sitting there, just me and my thoughts, and my hand goes to my wedding ring. It's still there, a band of cold metal, but it might as well be a chain around my heart. It's in this moment, this quiet, piercing moment, that I realize no amount of blogging, speaking, or sharing can fill the void left by my choices. No amount of public redemption can stitch back together the fabric of a heart torn by betrayal and regret. So, there I am, alone on a park bench, the symbol of my broken vows heavy on my finger. It's a sobering end to a chapter I never thought I'd write. But here's the thing about stories, especially the real, messy, human ones. They don't always wrap up neatly with a bow. Sometimes, they just end, leaving you with nothing but the lessons learned and the hope that maybe, just maybe, tomorrow might be a little